I was driving home late one night. It was a quiet, lonely road, surrounded by dense woods on either side. The clock on my dashboard read 12:43 a.m. I'd just finished visiting an old friend and was exhausted. My eyelids were heavy, and the radio had lost signal miles ago, leaving only the low hum of my car engine. That's when I saw it. A figure in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, my heart leaping into my throat. My car screeched to a halt, just a few feet away from them. It was a clown. Not a normal clown like the kind you see at kids' parties, but something straight out of a nightmare. The makeup was smudged, its white face streaked with what looked like red tears. Its oversized, dirty costume hung loosely on its frame, and it held a balloon in one hand. The clown didn't move. It just stood there, staring at me with its head tilted slightly to the side, a wide, unsettling grin plastered across its face. I honked the horn, but it didn't react. It was as if it was waiting for something. "Move!" I shouted through the window, even though I knew it wouldn't hear me. Then, slowly, the clown lifted its hand and waved. I don't know why, but that wave sent chills down my spine. It wasn't friendly. It felt mocking, almost like it was daring me to do something. I decided to go around it. My hands shook as I gripped the steering wheel and slowly steered to the side. As I passed, the clown turned its head to follow my car, its grin never fading. Once I was clear, I hit the gas, my heart pounding in my chest. I glanced in the rearview mirror, expecting to see it standing there, but the road was empty. I let out a shaky breath and tried to convince myself it was just some weirdo trying to scare people. Maybe a prank. That's what I told myself, until I saw the balloon. It was floating in my back seat. I swerved, nearly running off the road. My heart raced as I pulled over and turned around to look. The back seat was empty, but the balloon was there, tied to the headrest. I reached back, my hands trembling, and grabbed it. The string felt cold, like ice. There was something written on the balloon in thick black marker. "You can't leave." I dropped it like it was on fire and turned back to the road. My mind was racing, but I forced myself to keep driving. I needed to get home. A few minutes later, my headlights caught something on the side of the road. Another figure. It was the clown again. It was standing still, its balloon replaced with a long, rusted knife. This time, it didn't wave. It just pointed the knife at me as I drove past, its grin wider than before. I didn't stop. I didn't even look back. I just kept driving, my foot pressing harder on the gas. The road seemed endless, and no matter how far I drove, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. The woods seemed darker, the air colder. Relief flooded me as I spotted the bright lights of a gas station ahead. I pulled in hastily, parking under the glow, and bolted inside, struggling to catch my breath. The cashier glanced up from his phone, startled. "You okay?" he asked. "There was a clown," I stammered, gesturing toward the road. It was in the street, and then I stopped mid-sentence. Through the glass door, I saw it. The clown stood by my car, gripping a knife, its gaze fixed on me. Its grin stretched impossibly wide, curling inhumanly across its painted face. I stumbled back, my throat tightening with fear. The cashier followed my gaze, but when he looked, there was nothing there. "You sure you're okay?" he asked again, now visibly concerned. I didn't answer. Instead, I stayed at the gas station, too terrified to leave. Time crawled by, every shadow outside twisting into imagined threats, every creak in the building making my heart race. When the clock struck 3 a.m., I finally forced myself to move. My car sat under the station's lights, but the short walk to it felt like crossing enemy territory. I scanned the parking lot, the woods, and the dark road ahead. The clown was gone. I checked the back seat before getting in, locked the doors immediately, and drove off. Each mile home felt eternal. I couldn't shake the feeling that the clown might appear again, stepping out of the darkness or emerging from the shadows. But the road remained empty, and I made it home without incident. Relief washed over me as I pulled into my driveway, but it didn't last. My house, once a sanctuary, felt unsettlingly quiet. I locked every door and window, leaving the lights on, but the fear lingered. That night, I couldn't close my eyes without seeing that haunting grin. By morning, I was still awake, my mind racing with unanswered questions. I've avoided midnight drives ever since. Though I never saw the clown again, its memory clings to me, a chilling reminder of that night. It didn't follow me home, but its presence will haunt me forever.